Long ago, on the fields of battle, in the year 2017, two men met to decide once and for all what the most metal things in the universe are. For there can be only one. What's more metal? With your hosts, Dan Weber, Tony Noah.
Hey friends, welcome to another edition of What's More Metal. My name is Dan Weber. This is a podcast where two cube-gleaming, hip-checking comedians talk about the most metal things in the universe. Joining me as almost never is the replacement quarterback to my NFL lockout. Give it up for Whitney Streed, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, very glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
Also joining us in the studio, DJ BJ, Lord Raw Dog, MP3PO, the Baron of Bass, the Thing Who Waits, the Squared Circle, the Audio Assassin, the Hi-Fi Slaughter Guy, producer Randy Lawrence, everybody. Give it up for Randall.
Thank you.
Randy.
So if you're not familiar, this is a podcast where we talk about the most metal things of various random topics. And by metal, we mean most badass, kick-ass, most sexy, or what's killed the most Nazis. That's typically the rubric we use. If you're watching and you want to vote on the choices that Whit and I will make coming up, you can vote in the comments. If you have any suggestions for our Ride the Lightning round at the end, put them in the comments, and Randy will look at them and pick a couple that we'll talk about off the top of our head.
I will.
But before we get to any of that, typically we talk about what we did over the week, and then sometimes we have the Posi-Core news.
Yeah,
which is
I did find something.
You did find
I
something.
did find
excellent.
something. Yeah.
So I do want to talk a little bit about. Do you have anything you want to talk about for the week?
I had a good week. I went downtown to Noon Tunes, y'all. Pretty rad. Oh, and I went to the zoo. I had a good week, actually.
That is a good week.
I saw elephants. I did not see polar bears. Saw a tiny owl. Yeah, it's pretty rad.
That's pretty awesome.
Mhm.
A couple of days ago, did a show
Mhm.
for Hijinks at the
So good.
Dirty Angel at the East Side Saloon. It was a murderer's row of comics.
Yeah, really was.
I legitimately, like, there's this person who was on the show who you don't get to see very often in Portland. Risa Reese was on the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Blast from the past.
Yeah, right. And that lady is a murderer. Like,
It's
like,
so great.
so fucking funny, right?
The whole set.
Yeah, the whole set.
Just-
And the thing was, like, when I looked at the lineup originally, Hijinks had me going second after her, and I'm like, oh god. Like, there's not very many people that I'd be legitimately concerned about following.
Yeah.
But that's an energy that I like.
Yeah.
That's too dissonant. Like,
As-
that needs to follow me, not the other way around. Like,
Uh-huh.
you can go from me to that.
That's a build.
Yeah. But
Right.
you can't go from that to me. Like, that's
Sounds
a dip. That's too far down.
as a valley.
And she was on stage, and Chris Johnson and I were sitting at a table, and he's like, Chris looked at me and he was like, man, I don't think I'm ever gonna kill like this. Like, she was like, people were like jumping up out of their,
Yeah.
all that,
Rocking around.
rocking around, spinning in circles and shit.
Yes.
It's so fucking crazy
Yeah.
how funny that lady is.
Queen.
Yeah, absolute murderer.
Probably been 8 years since I've seen her. Jesus. It's
Yeah, I hadn't
so
seen her in a
long.
while either. But man, she was killing it. I was just thinking, like, man, I don't know if there's anything funnier than a funny black lady. Like when I think back on all the female the lady black comics that I know, they're all crushers. Just about 100%. Like There's Davy Wooten is another one.
Yep.
The
She's
absolute
great.
murderer.
Yep.
There's this woman, Erica Clark, in Chicago, who's Mr. T's daughter.
Really?
And they're fucking hilarious. There's Rebecca O'Neill from Chicago.
Yeah, she's great. She's
There's
fucking great.
awesome. Oh God.
Remember
There was-
Carmen Trini's?
Yeah, I think I.
Oh,
Oh,
she was
yeah.
so funny.
Oh,
She
my
passed away,
God.
like pretty shortly after she started doing comedy, but it was
Yeah.
There was a lady in Bridgetown 2016 from Atlanta named Mia Jackson. That
Yeah.
was fucking hilarious.
Sam J.
Sam
If
J.
you don't know who Sam J is,
I don't think I
man,
know who Sam J
Oh
is.
my God.
Sam J might be a non-binary person.
Well, okay.
Close
well, in
enough,
that
though.
case, they're
Also
queer.
a crusher, though.
Also a crusher.
Absolutely.
Uh,
I'm not sure about that.
they're queer. They're hilarious. They're very funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, and of course, Dulce Sloan, if we're
yeah.
talking Bridgetown comics.
Dulce Sloan's
like,
Yeah.
really
never-
goddamn funny.
really good.
Nobody
Michelle
better.
Wolf, I think. Yeah, just a lot. Anyway, it was just occurred to me during that show. I'm like, man, I've never seen. Every time I see, they just fucking knock it out of the goddamn park. The crowd's jumping up out of their chairs and shit. It's crazy.
Rad. Razor Riz, man.
Yeah,
That's good
blast
shit.
from the past. So good to see her again.
It's really cool.
Anyway, that was my week.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I did that was worth a shit.
I feel
that
like
true?
this is the most noteworthy thing that I'm doing this week to like be in a room without a mask. I feel like I'm on drugs. I'm just like, what? It
You're
was
hallucinating
very
it.
wild. It's pretty exciting.
It's very nice, honestly. It's very this last week doing this show with other people in the room was it reminded me why I'm doing the show. Like
Right.
this summer, I kind of forgot. Like I was just like, this sucks. I don't like it.
Uh-huh.
Like I had to get fucking wasted to even get enough energy to do the show. Like I would do mushrooms and get drunk, and I'm like, this is kind of okay, but
Yeah. no,
still. So this is much better.
Yeah.
I hope other people can feel the energy that I'm feeling currently.
emanating off of
Yeah,
us.
and it just when you get around people, it's just different.
Mhm.
Even just one other person in the room would be enough.
I made it. I went back to work in office at the beginning of April, and like one of the first afternoons, I made a joke, and like several coworkers laughed at once, and I was like, "Oh, that's the good stuff."
Yeah.
It's wild. It's like
Just
doing
like
an open
tying
mic.
it up on your arm, like
Exactly. Bottle it. Dream
give it
about
it,
that shit.
just shoot it in. So what's the Positico news?
I actually saw an article earlier today.
So upsettingly.
It's more just a step in the right direction.
Okay.
The governor of Alabama
Okay.
signed into law legislation that removes discriminatory language for LGBTQ in sex education,
Wow.
Nice.
which in Alabama is
Yeah.
fucking huge.
That's
Yeah.
great.
That is surprising.
Big step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Good job, Alabama.
Yeah.
Good job. And
Cheers to
I will take back half of the things I said about people from the South just earlier. There's a half an hour ago. I'm not taking back the other half. I mean, you're still ignorant, but
And just the one incident.
just the one.
All the other ones are still-
Every other time I've said something, you've earned it.
Yeah.
But that one time, I'll take that back. That's awesome, though. That's
Yeah.
fucking great.
Yeah.
Very
I was happy to see
cool.
that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a really, really bright light in comparison to many other governors these days.
Right.
Many.
Exactly.
Sucking a lot.
Yeah, many other governors need to take a hint from Alabama, of all places.
Yeah.
I think that's a sentence I never thought that I would say. Yo, follow Alabama's.
The progressive vision of Alabama
Yeah, it doesn't
will
even.
guide us.
Yeah, that's not a thing I ever thought I would say. Ugh,
It's
well,
a sad thing, I think.
Yeah.
Not a good thing.
no.
But that's a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a sad thing that I never thought I would say it.
Right.
It's a good thing that I actually got
That you get to. Yeah.
I suspect that I will never get to say it about Arkansas But-
Yeah.
Oh, you never. Oh,
Never know.
I don't know.
or South Dakota. Anyway, who knows? Hey, we got a sponsor, guys.
No
Oh.
shit.
No,
Good
it's
news.
weird how we have a streak of people sponsoring the show for just 7 days,
Uh-huh.
for like almost a year.
It's uncanny.
Just shy of the amount of time required to give us money.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. We asked for you get 6 days free,
Yeah.
and then on 7th day you owe us whatever you
At
promised.
the
us.
24th hour.
Yeah, the 24th hour.
Yeah.
They usually tap out at about 11:55
Right.
on right before, and they're
Right.
like, "Now we're out."
Thinking on it.
We gave you guys a chance, and it didn't push the needle at all.
Right.
None of our products sold, or people actually called and said they weren't going to buy it now
Yeah.
because we were on your podcast. So,
So for whoever was our sponsor last week, in 2.5 hours, it's been real nice.
it was Guns for Cops.
It was Guns for Cops. Yeah.
Yes.
Guns for Cops. It was nice. And yeah. Looking forward to that letter.
right? When they their rejection letter.
Yeah.
We ain't giving you shit. So here's a copy that our new sponsor sent
Okay.
me.
Maybe this is the one.
Hello. Does technology piss you off to the point where you black out with rage? Are you worried that yet another bug will result in another broken laptop? Then we have the product for you. Cray Cray Computers are proud to announce our new Invincible line of gaming laptops. Made with our patented anger-proof technology, the new Invincible laptop is capable of taking a sledgehammer to the keyboard and still performing like a champ. Never again will you have to make up a story about dropping your laptop after getting killed by some sniping asshole in whatever game kids are playing these days. Invincible laptops. Rage quit games, not hardware. I want to thank Cray Cray Computers for being our new sponsor.
Dope.
Yeah.
And,
Love their tagline.
Love their
Yeah.
tagline.
Really good. Really
Rage quit. Wait, yeah.
solid.
They actually, I had to paraphrase what they said about snipers
Oh, okay.
because it was so much worse, and I was like, nah, I gotta tone this down. They used a lot of words that we don't use on this podcast in
sure,
that particular
yeah.
copy that you might see if you've ever played one of those first-person shooter games. You'll definitely have a fucking junior high kid yell them at you over the internet.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I don't know how old the people who run Invincible laptops like Cray Cray Computers are, but I'm guessing 14.
They've lost a laptop or two in their day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this week we have two. We have two. Unlike every other week, we have two topics this week. We're going to do most metal sidekick and most metal soundtrack.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So which one do you want to? Which one do you think we should do first?
Oh, God, I don't know. Do you have a preference?
I don't. I think they're both pretty good.
Let's eeny. Okay, well, I'm horrified about the soundtrack one. So does that mean we should do it first or second?
Let's do it first.
All right. Soundtrack.
Soundtrack. So in order to decide who gets to go first, we decide in the most metal way possible
Oh, it's right
by
there.
rolling 20-sided die.
Let's do it in person.
It's
Yes.
really exciting.
Yeah,
We don't have to have Randy, the worst roller in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
We're gonna use the What's More Metal brand 20-sided die. The one says What's More Metal because we're the #1 podcast to fuck to,
Uh-huh.
and the 20 says Natch Twombo because
It must.
who cares? Some guy who hasn't showed up in a while made it up. So, you want to roll first? man?
I'll roll first.
All right.
Shit,
Feel free to move the coasters. They're definitely impeding the space a little.
got an 8.
Got an 8. I'm gonna roll. I got a 9.
Yes.
Yes, I got a 9. So I win. So I get to
Alright.
go first
Ding, ding, ding.
for most metal soundtrack. This one was actually relatively easy for me
Okay.
because I
Oh,
love this
I know
soundtrack.
exactly which one you're gonna fucking pick. I
don't think you do.
No.
So it's the soundtrack to a movie called Judgment Night.
Oh, never mind.
It came out in the mid '90s. It is the first album that combined rap and metal. Every track is a hip hop artist and a metal artist combined.
Wow.
Some of the things they call metal are a little bit iffy. Like Sonic Youth is not metal.
Sure.
Dinosaur Jr. good, but metal is a bit much. But some of the other tracks are fucking awesome. For example, there's Biohazard and Onyx, and they do a song called Judgment Night. Slayer and Ice-T do a song called Disorder. Faith No More and Booyah Tribe does Another Body Murdered. Mudhoney and Sir Mix-a-Lot do Freak Mama. And Therapy and a band named Therapy and Fatal do Come and Die. And Pearl Jam and Cypress Hill do The Real Thing. And they're epic. It's a really, really good soundtrack.
That sounds so cool.
It's awesome. And
I would also say that Pearl Jam and Cypress Hill is a stretch for metal.
It's a stretch, but grunge is like an offshoot of metal.
That's very true. Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't fit anywhere else, so we'll just call it metal.
Yeah.
And a lot of metalheads liked Nirvana, so
yeah.
Or I mean, some did. Some of them are too cool or whatever. But
especially early Nirvana, that's fucking close.
Yeah, it was real good. So and Soundgarden kind of bridged the gap.
Yeah,
it would have been better if it was Soundgarden and Cypress Hill.
Yeah,
but you can't have everything. So anyway, so that's my choice. Judgment Night.
Judgment Night.
It also the movie starred Dennis Leary as the villain, and he plays a pretty goddamn good villain. He was a psychopathic murderer, and that it was great. It's a very cool movie.
Judgment Day. What year was it from?
Oh God,
general.
90s, mid-90s.
I can look it up.
Yeah.
Get to researching, Randy.
Type it out, buddy. So that's my choice.
That's a great choice.
What do you got?
That's a great choice. Okay, so this is why I'm terrified of this one, is because I've lived in fear every time I've been asked to do this show of having to have actual knowledge about metal music, because I don't. And I'm like maybe the least metal person that exists. So I tried, I want you to know before I came upon an actual good answer, I tried very hard to make the case for the Hunchback of Notre Dame Disney soundtrack. I tried real hard.
Here's the thing. I fucking get it.
Right?
Because there are some dark-ass songs in that movie.
It's a dark situation.
It's a very, very dark movie.
There's like an archdeacon singing about fucking going to hell because a Roma woman won't fuck him, so he's gonna kill her.
Yeah.
But I decided, after I tried, I wrote it. I wrote out some thoughts about it, and I realized what I was saying was that the movie was the most metal Disney movie and not the soundtrack, because the soundtrack is really like Jason Alexander singing as a gargoyle, which is less.
Less metal.
Yeah, much
a little
less
bit,
metal.
Maybe not the most metal. It is less most metal than other most metals. So I'm going with This Is Spinal Tap.
Okay.
That's a great one.
Because it's all Spinal Tap. Like the whole soundtrack is Spinal Tap,
Yes.
which is really cool. From they're England's loudest band. I don't know. I think it's great. I think it also sparked a whole genre of movies.
Yes.
Like that's hella
yeah.
metal to just make mockumentaries a thing.
Yeah.
Because you were so convincing as a mediocre band. Like that makes you great. Like that makes you extremely metal, I think.
Oh no, that movie is awesome. I've seen it many times. I still laugh whenever they do the Stonehenge, and they lower the 2 foot tall Stonehenge. They just have a little person dancing around it to make it look bigger. God, it is funny as fuck.
Good. And it's so self-aware, but also like campy in the way that is the best.
Yeah.
Metal. So yeah.
And Christopher Guest is that's the first thing I saw him in.
Oh sure.
And hit it as Nigel Tufnell just knocked it out of the fucking park.
So
the song where where he's playing the really quaint song on the piano, and they're like, "Oh, what do you call that?" He's like, "I call that one Lick My Love Pump." Just fucking love that. God damn. That is a great soundtrack. I used to listen to that. I mean, I'd listen to that soundtrack all the time.
Yeah, I was listening to it and I was like writing about it. I was like, this is great. This is real good. I also learned in the course of research that so Metallica's Master of Puppets was the first metal album to be entered into the Library of Congress in 2016, but This Is Spinal Tap was entered in 2002. So it was way predated, and I think actually counts as the first metal album.
I would agree.
In the Library of Congress.
Yeah, it would. It's sort of like a metal comedy album, Because they've got the songs are like Sex Farm,
Yeah.
shit like that.
Big Bottom, I believe, is
Yeah,
one of the hits.
Big Bottom, Lady, you got 'em. Anyway, I don't remember. I can't remember the lyrics, sadly. But I do love that. I do love that movie, and I love that soundtrack. So that's a great choice.
It's a really good
it's
choice.
Spinal Tap. So
A minute.
if you're wanting to vote in the comments, my choice, Judgment Night. Whit's choice was This Is Spinal Tap
That's what we got.
soundtrack, which are both great.
Yeah. Good work.
The one that Randy probably thought I was going to pick and is my backup.
Oh no.
And it's mostly because the movie is so
Yeah.
fucking metal.
Yeah.
The soundtrack
Excuse me.
is very atmospheric and has some metal qualities, but not.
It's pretty like sludge metal, right?
It's like, I mean, the whole movie is like a doom metal video.
Yeah.
And so the soundtrack is very doom metal-y, but it's the soundtrack to Mandy.
Uh-huh.
Because it's just but they don't have the other thing that I have never found the soundtrack. They've never released it.
Whoa.
So I found like there's playlists on Spotify that grabbed all the songs and do it in order, but I don't think there's an official soundtrack to Mandy. If there might be now, but there wasn't when the movie first came out. But it's got such a droning,
Yeah.
just like loud. If the louder it gets, the better it is. Like and then it's interspersed with like the dumbass song, the cult leader fucking that had his folk band sing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
he was like made his wife listen to right before he killed her when she laughed at his dick. There was such
you
a
know,
yeah,
like you do.
like you do. And she should. I mean, she was not in the wrong in this.
Oh, okay.
she was definitely legitimately in the right for that particular that laughter. But yeah, it would be Mandy for sure.
That's solid. That's a solid backup.
Yeah.
I like that.
What do you got?
My backup, aside from Hunchback of Notre Dame, is okay. I'm going with Thor Ragnarok just for immigrant
Ooh,
songs.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no other songs on that soundtrack. It's all just instrumental songs. Like, but
God damn.
it's immigrant song twice.
What a
and
great choice.
It's spectacular. Like, it's so good, and it's used so well in the movie, and the song is so perfect. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I love it a
Agreed.
lot.
Yeah, the first scene where he's fighting all the like lava things,
Yeah,
like the
like-
goblin,
Lava goblins.
Yeah.
Lava goblins.
the
lava
goblins or whatever. That's cool. But the last scene on the bridge where
Ugh.
they do,
And
man,
he's doing the thing, and he's like,
Yeah.
it's
thunder.
ridiculous,
Yeah, it's
man. That
so
is
good.
such a
But
cool,
he's got his like backup.
Yeah.
Oh, there's been growth.
yeah.
I love it. I fucking love that movie
I-
desperately.
That is the best. Yeah.
It is unquestionably the best. Like, it's not just the funniest, but like, it's the well-made movie. Like, the jokes are so well made, and they're set up ages apart, and like, ugh, it's
Yeah.
upsettingly good.
It's so good. I love that movie a lot.
So yeah, that's my backup.
That is a good backup. Great movie, good backup. I had a couple more. I don't know if you had any more, but just two that I want to give a shout out to. The soundtrack to the original Blade with
Ooh.
Whitney, not Whitney,
Smith me.
Wesley Snipes. That's a great one. It's a lot of techno and rap, but it still like goes hard, so it's
Mhm.
pretty good. And the soundtrack to the movie Spawn.
Yeah.
That is so good. It's another one where it's like a mashup between like techno bands and metal, and it's so fucking good.
Yeah,
like
it's
the
dope.
the first track, which is Filter and Crystal Method doing High Like I Do, so fucking good. Like it's so good. That's such a great goddamn sound. I've listened to that soundtrack. I used to listen to that soundtrack when I would play this video game that I probably played about 1,000 hours of, called. It was an old school one in the mid '90s called Battlezone,
Mm.
and I played that so much it was like a full-time job. Like I think I played it like 60 hours a week for like a year,
Damn.
like deathmatch shit.
Wow.
And it was floating tanks, but the way that they moved was so fucking cool that it was just irresistible. I just played it all the fucking time. It was honestly disturbing how much I fucking played that game. So yeah, Spawn, the soundtrack to Spawn,
Awesome.
the soundtrack to Blade, both great.
I was very scarred by the the trailer for Spawn as a child. I was very upset by the visual of Spawn.
Yeah.
Like as close I was supposed to be, but
Yes.
like it's like ugh, it's upsetting. My a second backup, similar to the techno metal combination, is The Matrix, which has a lot of really good songs.
That's a good one too, man.
Yeah,
that is
there's,
really
like,
good.
There's Rob Zombie on it. There's Marilyn Manson on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Rammstein.
Mm-hmm.
Rammstein. That movie just fucking cracks me up.
Yeah, and it's definitely not all metal. There's definitely lots of like electronic, more leaning stuff too.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
But yeah,
But it's
and visually, it works with the vibe.
yeah, that is a great one. God, that movie. I mean,
that first one is.
it's so good.
It's so
I
good.
mean, even though like special effects have moved on, it still holds up. Like when
Yeah.
I see it, I'm just like, this is still dope.
Yeah, because they didn't. I mean, they did a good deal of special effects, but nothing that was like needed to be incredibly detailed.
Yeah, it was really
what I
just
mean?
like to further the story,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
opposed
yeah.
to being like, this is the reason we're watching the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because trans women get the job done.
Yes, 100%. They did, and I don't know. I'm trying to think. There's probably a couple other movies tried to do it, but the technology where it would be like spin around and like you'd see from all angles while it was slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't see much of that. Like that movie did that first, and they did it best.
Bullet time.
Bullet time, insane. That shit was insane.
Yeah, actually visionary.
Yeah.
Like, really cool.
Yeah, I remember the trailers for it before it came out, and it was like, what is the Matrix? That was the only, and it was just like weird green numbers, and they would show like a small clip of some shit, and you're just like, what in the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So we went and saw it in the theater and walked out just blown away. Like, holy fuck, that was awesome.
That was on repeat in the high school crew. It was either The Matrix or Fight Club. That was always what we were watching. Like that was.
Yeah.
Because we had to think real hard about masculinity, but not know what we were doing.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's going to bring us to the next topic.
Next topic.
So this topic is most metal sidekick.
Most.
Because I went first last time, Whit gets to go first this time.
All right.
Whit, what is your most metal sidekick?
Okay. I pondered on this one. I got a couple deep cut, but I think I'm going to keep them for my backups. I'm going to go with Bucky Barnes. MCU Bucky Barnes, because I know nothing about anything else. Because I don't know how to read. But yeah, I mean, like, obviously super strong, kick-ass, never the main character until just now, but that doesn't count. Like, sorry to be topical, but did you watch it? It's not that great.
I honestly think he was still like Falcon's sidekick. Like he was he was a sidekick all of the time.
Because that's what he wants. He's like he's like a sub. Like that is what he wants. He wants to be the sidekick, which I deeply respect. Like I'm into it.
I mean, the only time that he was like not a sidekick, he was a murderous automaton. So he's like, maybe I shouldn't be in charge. That's understandable.
Well, and he's not at all in charge when he's a murder automaton. He's like a slave. But yeah. So, but he can be a murderous automaton, which is impressive.
Yes.
Got to do that. He can get the job done, as it were. But he also manages to like get through being a murderous automaton and like reclaim his humanity and not be like a completely fucked up human being who's morally reprehensible. So I respect that.
Yeah.
And also he definitely has killed a lot of Nazis.
He definitely has killed a lot of Nazis.
Unquestionably. Also, he is literally metal because he got the arm.
Yeah, he's got the metal arm.
If vibranium is metal, I don't know. It's not really.
It is.
But it's also like a gas and like a liquid.
It's whatever is needed for the story in a comic book.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of how those metals were. They did the adamatine is another one.
Vibranium takes the form of a plot device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the MacGuffin of metals.
Yeah.
They might as well just call it MacGuffin. What is this made out of? It's made out of MacGuffin.
It's like the thing in Avatar, unobtainium.
Unobtainium.
That is.
It's a bit on the news.
I yelled out when they said that in the theater. I was just like, "Fuck you!" Like I could not embarrass my ex-wife. Something fierce.
Correct. It's the correct movement.
It was. I was 100% accurate. That was dumb as fuck.
Yeah, you were.
God damn. I mean, it was a cool looking movie,
It's a very cool looking movie.
but it's so stupid.
yeah, it's just like Mortal Kombat.
What?
Yeah, the new Mortal Kombat.
I know, but
yeah,
what?
it's really cool looking, but it's fucking
Oh,
stupid.
I thought you
Oh,
meant like
plot-wise.
plot-wise. I'm like,
No,
No.
God,
It is
no.
like Fern Gully, right?
Yeah.
That is what the movie is.
yeah, it's basically Fern Gully. Yeah, Fern Gully, except with tentacle fucking. Like
Yeah,
you have to tentacle fuck a monster in order to fly with it.
yeah.
Just
It's the unedited Fern Gully.
Yeah.
There was like a lot worse that we didn't get to see. It made me physically ill. I think because of the 3D glasses, not because of the content of the
Yeah,
film. But
sure.
like, we never know. It could have been the essence of Avatar. But like,
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't even like. I had the worst headache I've ever had after watching that movie.
Get ready. There's 4 more.
yeah, they're filming them all at once.
Yeah.
Because James Cameron's just like, I can do whatever I want now. I made $1 billion on a movie, and I'm like, well, I guess.
Yeah, no, that checks
But he's
out.
blown through most of it, making these the next 4. Better hope one of them hits. God, they're gonna suck.
That would
Anyway,
be very bad.
it was one of the only movies that I've seen where 3D was actually like a reasonable thing to have in it.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it was like the vanguard of like
Yeah.
new 3D cinema.
Oh, yeah,
and that-
everybody thought it was going to be fucking
No.
aces from that point forward, and then got nothing good from it.
But it costs so fucking much money to make. They're
Yeah.
like, we can't do this.
Remember 3D TVs were a thing for like a week?
Oh God, they sucked.
Yeah, it did.
They were so bad.
Who wants that?
My buddy wanted that
Oh,
and got it and still has it.
buddy.
Whoops. No good. No bueno. No.
Pick the wrong trend. Should have bought a Bitcoin.
Why, he's probably waiting for smell-o-vision.
Yes.
You know, when there's a lot of dead bodies lying around, I want to smell it.
I need depth and odor.
Depth and odor. Apocalypse Now in 3D, and I gotta smell that napalm.
I'll never
Fucking
remember
weirdo.
this if I don't smell it. Scent is the longest memory.
That's true. You can force a movie into your brain forever. No, thank you. I haven't seen very many movies I want to remember like that,
Yeah, right.
and some of them I don't think would smell like. I would not want to see Mandy in smell-o-vision.
No.
When the biker gangs, the Cenobite biker gang shows up, I bet they don't smell good. I bet that's not a pleasant odor.
Yeah. It's like I don't want to see Beyond Thunderdome and Smell-O-Vision either.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and but if we had smell-o-vision, however, you would have to have a whole like special effects division devoted just to smell, because like they wouldn't smell like the things that they're supposed to smell like. Right? So like, you know how you have sound
Right.
effects and you got people banging on pots and pans and smashing
Right.
cabbages, you're not cutting people's heads open. So you'd have to have a whole like smell effects. Smell effects
Yeah.
division.
I feel like Disney has nailed that down, but
Yeah.
they just haven't done it yet.
It's
except
secret.
outside of one ride. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably. I
Like in
mean,
Captain EO. Like
and who wants to smell that? Like,
no, that's a gross smell.
that'd be a gross smell for sure. I don't want to. I'm not going to say anymore, but we're going to leave it at that. Now I started talking about it, I'm like, I better pull the ripcord on that shit, because that's going to get dark
It's going to
Truly
get dark
nowhere.
real fast.
real quick.
So yeah. Thank God we don't have smell-o-vision.
Yeah.
It's the moral of that story.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of movies where I would want to smell the whole thing, and there's none.
There's not one.
No.
Not one.
Because
I'm like,
ultimately, you're going to have to smell a person or an animal the whole time.
yeah,
Like, it's one of the two
yeah,
for your main character. I don't need that.
yeah. And how often have you ever seen an action movie where the main character showers?
Yeah.
Like,
not-
constantly.
Like, not often.
Right.
So they're constantly sweating,
Mhm.
fighting and murdering people,
Uh-huh.
and not showering.
Yeah.
That's not a thing I want to smell.
Right.
No. And blood. Lots of blood. I don't
Lots
really
of
want
blood.
to
I
smell
don't
a lot
need
of
the
blood.
metallic. I don't need the metallic tang of blood covered with BO. Like, no,
Right.
thank you.
Yeah.
I don't need to smell Vin Diesel after a week of never showering.
Right. In addition to literal diesel, because all
Yeah.
of those cars are gonna smell like ass.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I can tell you that because there's a lot of drag racing outside my apartment. It smells awful.
Yeah.
Oh
Don't
god.
want it in my movie experience.
Oh yeah, they doing that on Broadway? On Wheeler?
All the time. Like, yeah, on Broadway, they like spin donuts and shit.
They
Like,
do it over here too.
I'm like, why
You
are
never
you
heard
so
'em?
bold?
Where on?
Racing down McLaughlin.
No,
Oh,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm far enough away from McLaughlin that I wouldn't hear it.
Oh, okay, yeah. You can hear them. They're loud.
It's
Damn.
They're loud.
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
It would stink.
the Fast and the I'm furious because I had to smell this movie. Gross. All right. So your choice was
Bucky Barnes.
Bucky Barnes. So my choice, I sent you a GIF. I don't know if you got it.
I did
Randy? I thought it might not have sent, unfortunately. But my choice is Kato from the original Green Hornet.
Ah.
Because the original Green Hornet, Kato was played by Bruce Lee. And he was such a badass in the role that in China, they called it the Kato Show. And they didn't even mention the Green Hornet. They're just like, they don't give a fuck about this other character.
That's great.
We're just going to show Kato, and he throws down a bunch of times. It's fucking awesome. Like, it's super cool. So, yeah.
That
it
is
would be-
truly the mark of a great sidekick, is that
Yeah.
it supersedes the hero.
Well, in that particular game, it was definitely he should have. Like, the guy who played the Green Hornet was just like, he was like a Freebox Batman, like Green Hornet. He was like a rich guy, but like, and he had like gadgets, but they were shitty.
Ah,
And he had a cane that he would hit people. It was just dumb as fuck. He sucked. Like Green Hornet was legitimately a shitty superhero.
Yeah.
The only reason to like that was Kato was in it, and Kato was a badass. And even when I was a kid, and I would watch it because they would show like the old Green Hornet episodes every once in a while on like TBS or some shit. Every time I'm watching, I'm like, why is Kato putting up with this old man shit? Like he should just beat his ass and take all of his stuff.
That was Bruce Lee, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Kato's. I mean, Bruce Lee played somebody's sidekick, which
Yeah.
doesn't even make
yeah,
sense.
that's
Right.
not a real thing.
That doesn't make sense at all.
Never
The
a
Green
sidekick.
Hornet should have been holding his bags. So it was just fucking ridiculous. So yeah, my
Always
choice,
a
Kato from the
sidekick.
Green Hornet.
Never a side. That's a great choice. I like that. I like that a lot.
So to reiterate our choices before we get into our backups, Whit chose Bucky Barnes, and I chose Kato, played by Bruce Lee in the original Green Hornet. The movie, I don't really remember that much about, so who cares? Not that one.
DGA.
You got any backups?
Got a couple backups. This is a bizarre backup. So this is the sidekick to Earthworm Jim in the hit 1990s Super Nintendo video game Earthworm Jim. His name was Peter Puppy. He was this little pink dog that trotted along next to Earthworm Jim. So Earthworm Jim is an earthworm who finds like a big spacesuit and like gets to travel through space because he found a suit. But he got a puppy too because that comes with a suit, I guess. But like this puppy is like a Hulk puppy. Like he will turn into a monster if you don't like keep him happy. So he's like this really cute little thing, and then all of a sudden he becomes like this huge monster and he kills all the bad guys and also you. So I like that a lot. He travels across like when he jumps across things, he doesn't actually jump across things. Earthworm Jim just like bullwhips him across like real effectively. And apparently there was a actual cartoon made of this video game, and in the cartoon he like has all these like mantras that he says to himself to like not turn into the Hulk dog, which are like he says like the fear is the mind killer monologue
Oh,
to
wow.
himself from Dune. So like I'm a fan of Peter Puppy from Earthworm Jim,
That's pretty fucking.
a
I
game which I could never beat. So
never beat. Yeah, I've heard it's impossibly. I've heard it's very difficult.
it's very hard for me as an 8-year-old person. It was very hard.
I never played the game or saw the cartoon, but I know the reference. I've seen Earthworm Jim. I just don't know. But yeah, that sounds awesome. Peter Puppy.
Yeah.
That actually makes me want to play it a little bit.
It wasn't unfun. It was just hard, but
Yeah.
also I was 8, so
Mm.
you never know. So that's one of my That's one of my
One of your
backups. How about you?
sidekicks?
That is one of my
Um,
many sidekicks.
So I'm gonna pick the character HK-46 from the video game Knights of the Old Republic.
Ooh.
He is an assassin, a Sith assassin murder bot, and whenever you interact with him, he'll say things like, "I just enjoy burning holes in meat bags." Like he's a murderous. He just loves his job, and he's one of the NPCs that you'll remember the most if you played that game. And I don't want to spoil what it turns out he is, but just remember he's just a very memorable character from one of the probably the best Star Wars video game.
Yeah,
ever
I've heard
made.
Knights of the Old Republic is really good.
It's really good. It's really fun. So yeah, HK-47.
HK-47. That's a great
Or I
name.
think it's 46 actually. HK-46.
That's less of an. I like that.
Yep.
Good choice. Good choice. Another backup. I don't know if he's technically a sidekick, but he's a bodyguard, and I feel like a bodyguard by definition is a sidekick
Kind
because
of,
they're
yeah.
like in employ of the hero.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going with Brock Sampson from the Venture Brothers because he is an extremely metal human being,
Yes.
and he's a bodyguard, so he's a sidekick. So that's why
Yes.
it's a backup. But not the main choice.
He's a sidekick in a technicality only.
Yes.
Like you could make the argument that Dr. Venture is Brock Sampson's sidekick, and
I
that
think
would
that's fair, but it's not called
nope,
Brock Sampson.
No.
It's called the Venture Brothers.
no, yeah, that character, man, like that, like he's a character who's got a license to kill,
Yeah.
and he just murders the shit out of everyone.
Constantly.
There's-
There's one episode where he's like trying to stop the crazy mom in the car.
Yeah,
And he like the car like he just crashes through the car window and like stops the car.
yeah.
It's great.
He just stands with his arm out. With his arm out like this and his other hand like to grab the steering wheel, and then goes through the windshield and grabs the car.
Squishes the mom.
Yeah.
Fake mom, real mom, I don't remember. But
That's so good.
that's the same episode where he argues with Helper about whatever album that is. He just goes, "Why am I arguing with the robot?" It's great.
Yes.
They're arguing about a metal album, but I don't remember which one. But I'm going with Brock Sampson.
Brock Sampson. That's a great choice.
He's a great man.
Another
Also, he does ayahuasca, and I respect that about him as well. So
I guess that makes you as badass. If it makes you as badass as Brock Sampson, please don't take it. He's a murderous psychopath,
Yeah.
and we only need one.
yeah, that's sufficient.
So I'm gonna pick Harley Quinn
Ooh.
from anything really. Although the cartoon and the Birds of Prey movie, both of them, especially if you'd sent. If I wish that the gift would have sent. Because there's one fight scene in Birds of Prey where the first time she picks up an aluminum baseball bat and starts fucking people up with it. And at one point, like, this guy's running at her and she bounces it off the ground and it hits him under the chin
Oh God.
and knocks him out. And then it flips up in the air and she catches it and turns around and beats the shit at somebody else. That movie is actually, like, underrated. Like, people didn't like it. I'm like, what the fuck is not to like? Hot ladies beating the shit out of other people. I don't understand your point. Like, what is
Yeah, that seems.
what is wrong? I guess I
pretty
just
solid.
said why some people wouldn't like it, but those people are lame. That's all I'm saying.
You're wrong, people.
And the Harley Quinn cartoon is hilarious from beginning to end. If you have not seen it, do it as soon as you can. It's a very, very good. It's very funny. Does no one else know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's on HBO Max.
Okay.
It's fantastic. It's
Is it for what? Who is it for?
adults.
Okay.
It's definitely like they say fuck a lot.
Okay.
And Birds of Prey?
No, not Birds of Prey the movie. The Harley Quinn the cartoon.
Oh, okay.
The Harley Quinn cartoon on HBO Max. It's definitely an adult cartoon. They murder a lot of people very violently.
Uh-huh.
Ron Funches does a voice of a character called King Shark. That's like a giant shark, and
I do remember
He's like,
hearing
he's
about
got Ron
this.
Funch's voice, and then every once in a while he bites people in half, which the dissonance is hilarious.
That's really funny.
It's really great. It's a really great cartoon.
I'm gonna definitely check that out.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I heard Ron doing an interview once about how like he was on some show and they asked him if he could do 2 different characters, and he's like, "Well, I can do 2 different characters, but they will have the same voice,
Yeah.
which is my voice."
Yeah, he
I
does
don't
not-
do a voice.
He does not do a voice at all. You absolutely recognize it as Ron Funches. Like, there's no way around it. He did, yeah, what was he did, so he was in King Shark, and then he did, it's Gremlins or Goblins? Trolls.
He was in Yeah, he's
was in
like in
Trolls.
several of the Trolls franchise
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Like, it's like one of his like bigger like movies that he's been in. The Trolls, like the world
Yeah,
tour Trolls.
yeah.
Your face is like, what is a troll?
No, I'm
like,
trying. I'm trying to think because I want to say that I've heard his voice in something recently that wasn't either of those things.
He was. I know he was in. There was a Disney Channel, a Disney Plus movie called like The Great Ivan or something that he was in. But he does a lot of voice work at this point. Like,
Was he in the most recent season of Big Mouth?
maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. Actually, maybe.
Because like
Right.
that's where I feel like I'm associating him with.
Yeah.
It's something recent.
I think
but-
that's a very reasonable possibility
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, he definitely knows all of the people that create
Yeah,
Big
of
Mouth.
course. Yeah.
So
Definitely.
it's quite likely that he would be a voice on that.
hmm
The movie that he was in that has the weird name, like Cicada
Yeah.
33 or something like that.
Yeah. Did you see the movie?
Yeah, I watched it.
What's it like? I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, it's about a conspiracy theory that I'm familiar with. I'm familiar with the whole concept of it, but it's like a fringe thing, and I mean, it's a good movie. I liked it, but for sure, like it's a weird choice to base the plot of a movie around.
Dark Web Cicada 3301.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Cicada 3301 is like some internet meme puzzle that
Oh,
that only
right.
like a handful of people have ever solved.
Oh, that movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so nobody knows like according to internet lore,
Yes.
nobody knows what happened to anyone who solved it. They just disappear.
Oh, dun dun dun.
Yeah, so this movie is about that.
I mean, that's so fun. But why is Ron in that film? Like, is really my question. I'm just like, it's so weird that that's
I mean,
the film that he's in.
I mean, he plays the like the hero's best friend, and he's great in it.
Nice.
He's very good in it. The movie itself kind of it jumps around a bit. Like it's like I don't like. There's some things happen that like I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like I watched this movie and I don't know why this is happening right now. Like why
Yeah.
these two characters now know one another. Like as far as I know, they just walked past one another and now they're having a dialogue. But you know, if you ignore like the plot, not so good. But like Ron did a great job.
Cool.
So it was good to see him in a movie. Hopefully he gets.
Yeah.
Hopefully it leads him to movies that are have a better script.
Yeah, more of his wheelhouse.
Definitely. Well, his character was definitely in his wheelhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but more. I just want it to be more like this screenplay. Everything that happens makes sense. Like, that is not the case. It's Cicada, Dark Web, Cicada 3301. Like it's just like I really want this to make sense, but I just can't. But then again, maybe I wasn't watching it close enough or something. Anyway, so yeah, that's that topic. I think do you want to talk about another sidekick?
Oh, and I was going to complain about Black Widow, but I don't need to do that. so.
Complain about it? What? We can talk about it. Let's complain about
No,
it.
so I was going to say, I feel like Black Widow is a great sidekick, and it's upsetting that she's a sidekick, because she is a sidekick. She's like the fucking Avengers wife. And, like,
Yeah.
it makes me really mad, because, I mean, I know the fucking movie's coming out, but, like, she's still never going to be, like, a main Avenger, but I feel like that was what I was going to say. Like, I'm angry that she is a sidekick, even though she is not presented as a sidekick. She's like one of the main guys, but like she's totally not. She's just there to like be the hot one, and then be like the mom, and then be like someone's girlfriend, and then be like I'm sexy, but I'm not your girlfriend. Like that's
Yeah.
all she's there to be, is like a different kind of woman for each guy. Like,
Yeah.
which is what a sidekick does, and not what like a full exciting character does.
Yeah, that is a bit disappointing, especially considering the first couple of times they introduced the character,
Yeah.
was just like a badass whipping, like beating the shit out of Tony Stark,
Mhm.
or like, calming down the Hulk. Like that's the kind of, and then it just kind of devolved.
Yeah, she should have had a first wave movie. Like she should have been in the first wave,
Yeah, I
and then it
agree.
would have been equal footing from there on out. But
Yeah,
nope.
I do think, from what I understand, and I don't want to, this is just a rumor, who the fuck knows, but apparently the Black Widow movie
Mhm.
is going to introduce the person who's going to play the Black Widow going forward. Because in the comics, the Black Widow wasn't always the same person.
That's just a moniker.
Oh,
It was a hero, but there were different people
Like a
took on.
James Bond.
So
kind of-
her
Yeah.
like the co-star of Black Widow, the person that I think is going to take over the title.
Well, that's cool and
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
and hopeful for the future.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
I feel like that plus Wanda. I'm like, okay, we've got some women here now. They're doing things.
Yeah, the
It's
the
doing
Scarlet Witch
okay.
is the
Ugh.
might just very well be the universe-ending threat in the next
Yeah.
in the next MC phase 4 or whatever the fuck
Mhm.
they're on.
She might be the big baddie.
Yeah, 'cause she's more powerful than all of the rest of them, pretty much,
Mhm.
except conceivably for Doctor Strange. But anyway,
Yeah.
enough about that shit. I think that brings us to the polls. So did we do polls?
Yes. Yes, we did. Noriko got him out. I got
Good
him
job,
out here.
Noriko.
Thank you, sir. So last week it was you and Sam Whiteley doing most metal MMA finisher and most metal thing you say after killing a guy.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So for MMA finisher, you chose the cage the cage kick,
Yeah.
and then the falling punch,
Yeah.
and then Sam chose the double knockout.
Yes.
Now, before I read the result, no wrong answers
No.
because they were both fucking excellent.
Yes.
And that is proven because the winner by 52%
Yeah.
Whoa.
is the double knockout.
That's a good one though.
It was
Like,
very good.
I wasn't unaware of it, and when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's tight."
Yeah.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious.
Uh-huh.
That is so fucking funny. 'Cause they just both like clock them, like
Oh, yeah.
in synchronize. They just like blam.
It was really entertaining.
Yeah,
to
it's
see.
really great.
Yeah. And then for most metal thing you say after you're killing a guy, it was you, Dan, with when you meet Jesus, tell him he's next.
Yeah.
And Sam Whiteley's anyway, who's hungry?
Yeah.
And with 79% of the votes, it went to Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. That means 21% of the people are wrong.
Yeah.
Or hungry, perhaps.
That's bullshit.
But yeah, that's. That
I
is
mean, I've
pretty
been sitting
unquestionable.
on that line legitimately for over 20 years. Like I thought of that line well before I started doing comedy. Like I thought about that line as
That's amazing.
as when it legit, like in my head, it's in a movie
Yeah.
where he's murdering a psychotic, like Christian fanatic, and that's when he killed. He says it before he kills him, and then blows his brains out. But just after is fine. Like
Right.
it's still like it's
Yeah.
still valid.
Please write that movie.
We
would all watch that movie.
I don't have any other ideas for that movie. I just have the line that he's going to say at the very end.
You know, everything got to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to build from there.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was. I've been sitting on that for so fucking long. I was so glad when Noriko came up with that topic. I'm like, oh, you're going down. There is no way you're going to beat this. And Noriko dodged it by not even showing up. I mean, I am interested to see what he would
What his choice
what
would
he
have
would have done, but it would have been second.
Yes.
Still wouldn't have won.
What his second most metal answer would be.
Second most. I mean, runner up is not bad. Anyway, so did anybody vote in the comments?
Nope. So
Okay. Well,
Thanks,
there you go.
everyone. We appreciate your support.
So I guess that brings us to the ride the lightning round. So, if you're not familiar, the Ride the Lightning round is where Randy will give us a random topic, and then doing just barely less research than we did for the previous two topics, we will talk about whatever the most metal thing of that thing is. So, you got any topics for us, Randy?
I've got a lot. This week was a little light from the Twitch stream,
Yeah.
so we're gonna go from the list that I've acquired so far, which is a lot. So, we're gonna go most metal shop tool.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like you can. There's a few we can rattle off and get through.
Your turn to go first.
Well, okay. I was gonna say you should go for it because we didn't. That last topic was kind of a wash, but
Okay, that's
unless
fair.
if
That's
you're
fair.
if you're not ready, then I can go first.
If you have one, you should go because I don't have one yet. But
All right. I'm gonna go with table saw
Okay.
yeah.
because it's an open air blade
Mm.
Yeah.
that people. It hasn't murdered nearly as many people as you would expect. I actually in wood shop in junior high, I did cut my finger on the table saw
No.
because the for whatever dumbass fucking reason, the wood got stopped, and so I just I put my hand close to the blade, and it just cut the tip. Like it wasn't. I didn't do it sideways, so it cut off a whole finger. But it still ground in my. It still hurt. It's still there. Like I still feel it. It put a little notch in the bone.
Oh, okay.
And it hurt pretty bad, and my teacher got real pissed off. But I mean, that shit, man. The table saw is one of the most terrifying tools I've ever used. I saw some kid putting a board through it, but he was doing it the wrong way. So it just grabbed the board and threw it across the room, and it put a hole in the wall and just went clam, like a 2x4. And it was like, Jesus Christ! They let kids use this shit? What the fuck?
Why does that shop exist? I mean, I'm glad it does, but why? Why?
Every single shop teacher's missing a finger.
Yeah. That's a good choice.
Yeah.
I was certainly imagining some sort of blade situation as well. Gosh, I think I'm gonna go with. Okay, is it a miter saw? The little.
Yeah, the one that you
that
can do corners and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna go with that one because it's got the same horrifying potential as the table saw, but you've got this illusion of control where you're like,
Ooh,
yeah, I
yeah.
got the handle on this, I can do it, but really you don't know where that fucker's gonna go because you're moving it and you are a fallible creature.
Yeah.
And you're
for
gonna
sure.
cut off your finger. All of the blades are very scary and very upsetting, but yeah, I feel like yours is a rip off of your choice, but
No, I mean the other choice that I had is the bandsaw.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is it's actually worse than the table saw because it's just a ribbon of metal that moves super fucking fast and has a chewing blade on the one end of it.
Yeah.
And it when I've used it in a few different places. There's a lot of that blade exposed.
Uh-huh.
So it's not like it's just a tiny bit.
right.
It's 6 inches of this thing. And one of the places I worked in when I was homeless in Santa Fe, New Mexico, I scammed my way into a job at the meat counter in a basically a Whole Foods, but not like a organic food store, like a hippie food store.
Yeah.
And one of the things we had to do was cut smoked chicken breasts in half. And they were like, yeah, you just hold it on either side and push it through the bandsaw. And I'm like, I'm never doing that. Are
No.
you fucking kidding me? Give me a better way to fucking cut these things than this. Like,
This
it's just
is not-
awful.
This is
it's-
not the
oh,
way. No.
yeah.
And oh no.
Running chicken through a bandsaw.
Just because of the bone. Like, it's just
Yeah.
cutting the breast in half. But
Mm-mm.
still, I mean, it was,
No.
it was dumb. It was,
That's
it
the
was
incorrect
insane.
choice.
It was really, it was insane. But,
And I can't think of a grosser thing to have to clean, which sounds so dangerous.
oh my God.
Like,
It
oh my
was,
God.
it was disgusting to clean too. Yeah. It smelled bad. It
It
almost made it so I couldn't eat half the chicken breast that I prepped that way, but I did. I managed. I powered through. I hadn't ate anything in like 2 days the first day I did that, so I just went into the walk-in and ate like $100 worth of meat. I did get fired from that job, by the
Oh,
way.
yeah, sure. Love it.
Welcome to the end of the show. If you didn't see it live, well, you're going to have to get on Patreon to hear what I talked about for the last 25 minutes.
It's worth it. Subscribe.
So, yeah, that brings us to the close of the show. I want to give a special shout out. The Empire of Pigs, the band that did the theme song to this, have a new album dropping tomorrow, May 1st, called Horror. And I have the first album, and it's amazing. If you like metal, Empire of Pigs is the shit. Pick that up. Give them, they did a theme song. I really appreciate it. It's fucking brutal, and the band is amazing. I want to give a shout out to our Patreon Pantheon for giving us money. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You get to hear about my kung fu class during that, which is even better.
And
You're welcome.
next week, Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Was it the 7th?
Friday the 7th, we will do, after the Friday night show, we will be watching Bride of Chucky
Yeah.
Nice.
on Netflix. You can watch along with us while Noriko and I probably get buzzed and talk
It's the
shit.
first time you guys are going to be back in studio together, too.
Doing that at the same time, which is
I
weird.
love
We've never done.
We've
a
never
movie
done
viewing.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be the
So
first time.
that'll be weird and cool.
That makes me excited for you. I'll totally watch.
And I think that's it. I don't have anything coming up. There's no shows really.
Yeah,
Lockdown is coming up.
everything's-
Yeah,
Lockdown
nothing
happened
happens.
today, and so there's
Yeah.
it's going to be a little while. I know. In 3 weeks. Oh, I want to give it before we leave. I do want to give a shout out to Helium. They did earlier today. They did their Slider Co. telethon, where they just had a bunch of people come in and talk about helium memories while they try to get people to buy sliders from. They have a slider pop up when helium is closed, and sometimes even when helium's open, and you could just order it
Okay.
after hours. It goes until 1 a.m. if you want to get yourself some delicious. The sliders are actually really fucking good.
They're very good.
They're very
That's
good.
shocking and exciting.
Yeah, so order it from them. Shout out to Nick Harris, who's a friend of the show.
Fuck yeah.
He's a fantastic dude and the manager of Helium. And, one of my favorite people. So buy a slider from Slider Co., who does no advertising at all, so this is it. They did the telethon today, which is probably as far as they've gone.
We are their sponsor.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, no, but yes. Yeah. But also, Helium in like 2 or 3 weeks are going to start doing outdoor shows.
Yeah. The
So
parking lot
even though they can't do indoor shows, they'll be doing outdoor shows no matter what. So that'll be cool.
That's great. In that little parking lot next to them?
Then behind it.
Okay. That makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
And I hosted one of them. I was supposed to host 2 of them, but then the world caught on fire.
Yeah, the fires happened.
Yeah. And
Sucked.
And that the very first show that I hosted outside was literally the very first time I'd been on stage in over a year. And that went about as well as you think. So hopefully the next time I get a host, it'll be a lot more sharp, a lot sharper. Other than that, I think that brings us to the end of the show.
Yeah. Subscribe to the Patreon.
Subscribe to the Patreon. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. No matter whether you subscribe or not, just tune in to the Twitch channel.
Yeah.
Give a shout out to Kickstand for letting us borrow their Twitch channel for a while. And until next time,
Yeah. Get
Thank you for listening.
vaccinated.
get vaccinated.
You all can now.
Yeah, if you're an anti-vaxxer, stop listening to this. Just know for sure one of the co-hosts hates you. Until next time, thank you for listening, and fuck pigs and hail Satan.
Fuck pigs, hail Satan.
Lying face down the street, take everything I can breathe. Let the reckoning begin. American sin, burning into the ash. Begin again, rise up to the moment. Smash off supremacy, killing women with a thing. Campaigning, systemic, academic, knee on the throat. Laying face down the street, take everything I can fucking breathe. Let the reckoning begin. American sin, burning into the ash. Begin again, give me liberty. Forgive me death. Don't tread on me. No step on snake. Give me liberty. Forgive me death. Don't tread on me. No step on snake. Bring on the rain.
The 26-year-old Louisville first responder shot 8 times and killed by police.
Taken down by mostly plainclothes police officers while being placed under arrest. One of the officers employed a chokehold. Moments later, while on the ground after complaining